Guess who got brands talking? Brandlive.co.za.
A very good morning. It is Wednesday, the 25th of April, 2018, and welcome to Brand Live Online Radio. My name is Errol Felix, and this is Green for Life, your program on matters environmental, natural, etc. Now, today I have the pleasure of introducing the South African landscape to one of the stalwarts of nature and the environment, a fierce campaigner for matters natural, and her name is Mearns. Good morning, Anne.
Good morning, Errol.
How are you today?
How are you today?
We're on the same wavelength. And I'm very, very well, and I hope you are too. It's a beautiful day here in Johannesburg. For me, it is absolutely an honor and a pleasure to introduce you. Could you please, just for the sake of our viewers, tell us how this love and passion for nature started with you? Where does it come from?
Well, when I grew up as a child, my brothers and sisters, we used to play in wetlands, and we used to look at the fish and the frogs and care for them. You know, when they hibernate and when they migrate, we used to pick them up and put them back into wetlands. And then we came to realization how these places are, depleted through pollution, dumping of waste in these wetlands, and we did whatever we can to protect them. And then in 1981, when my children was still at primary school, we decided to do our part for the environment. And then we established a youth organization, which is the Wilgeveldt Youth Club.
Could I maybe just intervene there, Anne? Because that rings a very, very beautiful bell for me as well. Because I got to know you via the Wilgeveldt Youth. And that is when we met, when I'd also just started at the SABC's environmental program 50/50. And so that is how we then met. So you started Wilgeveldt Youth, and then?
At that time, we were busy with the wetland, and this wetland was dried up during the winter. And the children, I told them to take action, and we decided to dug a furrow to a dam that has got water, and eventually we had the water flowing back into this dry wetland, and we saved the frogs and the fish and whatever was in the mud. And then our interest of the environment has grown bigger and bigger, and then I started to youth clubs in schools, wherever in our area, and we had quite a lot of youth organizations in the clubs where we got children to take an interest in the environment.
And Wilgeveldt Youth, at the end of the day, did that now become a national organization?
Yes, we actually participated in workshops, in conferences, international conferences, through our interest of wetlands. And I can remember our first time we went to the first conference in England. It was in Eastbourne. The children, we met quite a lot of children, 1,200 children from all over the world. And then I took 2 children with me to speak to the world, the youth of the world, about the environment. That was in 1987. And to the children of the world, it was something new to see that children are involved with the environment, and that they can do something positive. And so we had to do an audiovisual for the children of the world, where we showed them what we do and how we save frogs and how we clean up wetlands. And and do our part in the environment.
Yes.
And it was quite a great honor for the children to share their interest with the world.
Yes, and just speaking about children, you were also then a parent. You had your own children. There was an interest in the children of
Yes.
in your area to get them involved. Was it tough to do?
Yes. You know, they say once an environmentalist, always an environmentalist, and it became part of my life to be involved in the environment. And I can remember, people used to come to my house with frogs and that they picked up on the roads. And my children also saw, saw the frogs. And then we did whatever we can to try and protect them. And then it didn't stay just with protection, but we had to find a way, what can we do to protect them? And it was at the wetlands that were polluted with sewage water and used as dumping grounds. And then we started to get involved in cleaning them up and do whatever we can and make council. At those years, it was a Department of Water Affairs, Department of Agriculture, and we got them involved and the local council to take action against the environment. And we always had a positive attitude from the council, to be involved with the children.
Now, and I don't think I'd be wrong to say that frogs are probably at the core of all this, isn't it?
They say once an environmentalist, always an environmentalist, and it became part of my life to be involved in the environment. And I can remember, people used to come to my house with frogs and that they picked up on the roads. And my children also saw, saw the frogs. And then we did whatever we can to try and protect them. And then it didn't stay just with protection, but we had to find a way, what can we do to protect them? And it was at the wetlands that were polluted with sewage water and used as dumping grounds. And then we started to get involved in cleaning them up and do whatever we can and make council. At those years, it was a Department of Water Affairs, Department of Agriculture, and we got them involved and the local council to take action against the environment. And we always had a positive attitude from the council, to be involved with the children.
Now, and I don't think I'd be wrong to say that frogs are probably at the core of all this, isn't it?
We must take care about that because lots of organizations, conservation organizations, like for instance the bullfrog, I'm very much involved with the protection of the bullfrog. They say that our wetlands are polluted and there are no more frogs. There are frogs I've been 2 weeks ago, I went to a people that stay on plots. And on a plot areas, they got little wetlands, and there are lots of bullfrogs still living there. And our main aim and objective is to make those people that's got those wetlands, to make them aware of the importance of the protection of these frogs, because they are very important, for our environment.
Frogs are really the indicators, or one of those indicators of the health of an ecosystem, isn't it?
Yes, they are one of the environmental indicators if a wetland is in danger. Like for instance, at Bullfrog Pan, we did a survey in Benoni with these youth, and we came across all these wetlands, and we particularly find Bullfrog Pan. And the council used to, in those days, they used part of the pan as a dumping ground, and they pumped polluted water and sewage into this wetland. And then we took action, and to make a long story short, the council We made the council aware, the Department of Water Affairs, Environmental Affairs, they all started to get involved. And then the council spent quite a lot of funds to protect the wetland, and part of the wetland, it was rehabilitated, and the pan got back to its natural state around about 85% to what it was, because millions of frogs left the pan at that time. That was in 1988.
That's crazy.
But I must say the pan is better, in a better condition, but we still keep an eye on it. But the biggest problem is the decision makers must become aware of the importance of the environment. I've got quite a lot of, lately I'm involved in developers. They start to fill up wetlands for development, housing development, for streets, for sports grounds. But underneath those developments, there are frogs that are hibernating, and they are lost forever.
Absolutely.
And I think the biggest, they must
is that
become
not
aware.
the next thing, Anne, just to take this to a little more serious level, which is also one of your key concerns, is that a lot of these areas, the sensitive areas, are now being developed. And that is a real big problem. That is also one of the areas that you're quite involved in, isn't it?
Absolutely. Like for instance, I went the other day past a wetland where I grew up as a child. I was around about 5, 6 years old. And that particular wetland is, they started to fill it up. I contacted the council, I contacted the local councillors in charge, and I said, please, we must start to take action. And, you've got to write letters, you've got to, it's quite a big thing. And, I am on a committee of the council where they send all developments that take place in the council, that's taken place. They must let me know about it. Then I tell them, look, and I write to them, please don't, if you develop, go hand in hand with the environment.
Yes.
But I speak to people, I don't know, I'm not funny, but they don't listen. They don't listen to you. So it's a very big problem. And these developers are, they are the people, they must be made aware of the importance of our environment.
Anne, if you don't mind, could we just take a short break there? We've also got to pay the bills at some point. After that, I'd like to take ourselves to another aspect of this whole thing, where it's development versus nature. And at the end of the day, it shouldn't, there's probably a middle way there. But we'll get back to that right after this. This is Green for Life on Brand Live Online Radio.
brandlive.co.za.
Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Grow! Yeah. Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.bstownmedia.co.za.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Brandlive.co.za is thought leadership radio. It's a new way to communicate your brand, your value, and what we think about your industry. Be a leader, be a voice, and we will help you shape your industry. Our radio platform is for thought leaders who want to share insights, businesses who want to create value for their databases, organizations who want to control their message, for those that drive change. Make your brand come alive on brandlive.co.za, harnessing the power of talk radio.
You're listening to brandlive.co.za.
Hi and welcome back. This is Green for Life. I'm Errol Felix and you're on Brand Live online radio. Now we're speaking today to Anne Mearns. She's a fierce campaigner and fighter for protection and conservation of nature, especially up here in Johannesburg on the East Rand, where she's been living for a long time. Hello Anne, welcome back. Anne, one area that I'd like to focus on is the fact that development at this point seems to be springing up all over the show. We've got in South Africa at the moment a socio-political focus where it's people first. But surely we can't delay in terms of also at the same time protecting what it is that we have. Otherwise we're going to be sitting with a barren landscape. Isn't that so?
Yes, that's true.
What, in your opinion, is one of the first things that we need to do?
The main thing, I think, is an awareness. It must be introduced. It must be part of our school curriculums, conservation for youth. And also, I can't blame some of these decision makers. It's the local council, but I think our duty of people that know all things about the environment and the importance of the environment, that is our duty to go to these councillors and to talk to them, to make them aware. We can't actually blame them if I don't say they don't know, but if they don't know, they should ask and they should get involved in the council should allow a certain amount of money for schools to get involved in conservation projects. Tree planting. I have planted 47,000 plus trees in quite a lot of home areas all over Benoni, all over Pretoria and so on. And I use tree planting and vegetable planting as a way to reach the people at grassroots level. And it helps, and those people, I made them aware, plant a tree in your home, your yards, and nurse it and let it grow with your children. And I also laid out quite a lot of food gardens to make those people in the home areas around town, to make them aware of the importance they can care for themselves by planting their own vegetables. I introduced quite a lot of programs into schools, but the biggest problem today with conservation is there's not enough money allowed to do environmental education projects and to make children aware of the importance of the environment, as well as our main decision makers.
Yes, and earlier you said that once an environmentalist, always an environmentalist, and that really indicates that we should start with the children. Isn't that so? That is where we need to place our focus, because as adults, these children surely at one point, when they become opinion makers, informers, of the general public, when they become politicians, etc., then they would be better informed. There's one interesting story that I'd heard from the East, maybe you're aware of it, and this is when a local councillor was taken to one of the wetlands because people told him that development shouldn't take place there because there was a rare bird. He then went out with some people to go and look around the wetland. And after the exercise, when he was being interviewed by the media, he said he's not sure what the hoo-ha is all about. Everyone's talking about this rare bird, but he didn't see anything. And surely the reason why something is rare is because it doesn't occur that very often. So, that type of understanding is very, very important. So when you're sitting with an uninformed counselor, really that's a start of big problems, isn't it?
Absolutely true. I must just mention to you, I went to 2 conferences in Eastbourne, England, and with two groups of children. And those children, when we went back 2 years after the second conference, I was amazed to see how the children of the world started to take action about the environment. And I get regular. I'm a member of the United Nations Environment Program, and they let me know how children are interested in environment, and how they just do whatever they can. I also got involved with a group of youth from.
Sorry, Anne, we got cut off there.
Yes, that's
but
right.
we can continue now. So you were
Yes.
talking about the UNEP and a bunch of kids
Yes.
that you got involved there.
Yes. Yeah, our youth of South Africa, Benoni, had to go and deliver. We did 2 papers. The one paper was all about the protection of wetlands. And when we at the conference, I was amazed to see the interest that was growing from children that didn't know. I don't say they didn't know much, but their interest has grown. And 2 years afterwards, when I went back to do a presentation to the children of the world on community development and upliftment, tree planting projects and vegetable planting, these people were amazed. And I must say, I got letters from children from all over the world where they started to take action against, to get involved in the environment. And I think that's one of the most important things that we can do. Like, for instance, to start at a nursery school level. I started with my programs at nursery school level, and the children, the interest grows for conservation to primary school and high school.
And unfortunately, we have a couple of minutes left, but I didn't want to leave without recognizing the fact that you have received international awards for the work that you've been doing. One of them specific, you're a recipient of the United Nations Global 500 Award, isn't that so?
Yes, I received it in 1998 in Moscow, Russia, which was a great honor for me. And then I am a member of WWF Green Trust. I'm a trustee on WWF. Yes, and I was also invited to quite a lot of countries in South Africa, to Malawi, and to help those people also about environment. I'm a member of SADC.
Fantastic. Well, Anne, it was really such a beautiful pleasure for me to have known you over the years. I know your children. I've seen where it is that they're going. We cannot do without fierce campaigners like yourself for our fragile environment. I'd like to thank you for your time. And we certainly hope that you'll be able to continue for many, many more years. Looking forward to that. And you've also inspired me. My own daughter has also had her own environmental program. And in the new place that they're living in Midrand, or in Fourways, they've actually discovered some bullfrogs. So thank you for the influence that you've had on all of us. Thank you for your time, and all the very best.
Good, thank you. I just want to add to this, if I may. We must stay positive, and we must live for every day to the utmost what we can, the best of our abilities. Thank you, Errol.
Wonderful. Thank you, Anne. All of the very best to you.
Good.
Well, that
Good.
was
Thank
Anne
you.
Mearns, campaigner for the environment. We thank her for her time. This is Green for Life, and until the next time, I'm Errol Felix. Goodbye.
brandlive.co.za